Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Today is the 15th of January. Inshallah, today we will try and finish up two more chapters, or we'll try to go for three chapters. Chapter 5, Chapter 6, and Chapter 7. Right. So let's start with Chapter 5. Overall, what Chapter 5 is trying to tell you in this subject is about timing of entry. Okay, timing of entry meaning when is the right time to introduce your product innovation or your process innovation. All right. In the last two chapters, chapter 3 and chapter 4, we have talked about standards, we have talked about patents, we have talked about innovation. All right, we have talked about all of this. In chapter 5, we are looking at timing. When should be the right time for you, for your organization to come up with that particular product. Again, as I mentioned in the previous class, you are all no more engineers, you are all now senior managers or a very high position in your office. You are now in the department of transformation office, innovation office. So your job in your office now is to come up with proper innovation to change the company, proper new products, new services, new process, new ideas in order for the company to change. So your department has to propose to the top management. Now, this is the way to go and this is how to go. For example, let's say all of you are now working in Aon. Okay, Aon. So you are in the Aon Aon Innovation Department or Transformation Office. So your idea in your department is you want to propose to the Aon top management a new payment process. Let's assume Aon has not gone through e-wallet, is not doing e-wallet. So you want to propose to the top management, now Aon should accept e-wallet payments. So you want to propose this. So before you want to propose this, you have to do your department has to do your own study, has to do your own research in order to prove to the management it is worthwhile investing in this new product. So once your management has agreed on this, so you have to also tell your management when is the right time. Should it be in 2021, early of the year, 2022, or should it be end of the year, mid-year, during Christmas, during Hari Raya, during a big sale? When should it be? So now timing of entry should be right. Okay, the timing of entry should be right. So let's go and see what does this chapter talk about. The first example given in this chapter is about Uber Air. Okay, so Uber Air is a product or a service provided by Uber. I'm sure all of you have heard of Uber because Uber has come to Malaysia and has left Malaysia as well. Now it's already replaced by Grab. Okay, so Uber announced in 2017 they were going to announce a new demand transportation, which is called the Uber Air. What is Uber Air? Is similar to ride-sharing service. However, it's going on air. So this is a new product. Okay, a new product planned by Uber. Okay, so again, since this product has already been planned, Uber has to come up with a timeline. When is it going to launch this? Because if it's launched too early to the market, people might not want it because people were not ready, or maybe the pilots are not ready. The companies are not ready to accept such a big demand. Let's say suddenly, Uber Air is already in practice, and suddenly people request, okay, I want to fly from KL to Ipoh. to buy nasi ganda. Okay, but there is no helicopter. So how is that? So you have to give time to people, give time to the environment to be able to accept this kind of service. It's no more what you say. You cannot just announce it today and you hope that tomorrow people will take it. Okay, some products, services can be announced almost immediately. For example, now if I'm sure all of you have experienced most of the restaurants you go to, like Old Town White Coffee, there is no more menu. You have to use your phone, you have to use your QR code, and you have to get the menu on your phone. So that is something new. Okay, this can be announced very fast because people are ready. If most people have smartphones. But if this were to be proposed, let's say a few years before this, people will not be ready, even though they have smartphones. But QR code is something new. But over the last 1 year, QR code is very common to us. Okay, e-wallet, we use e-wallet a lot using QR code, and then with My Sejahtera QR code. So there's so many things. So QR code is something very common to us. Okay, so again, timing must be right. So when Uber launched this idea, it estimated certain number of times. It means by 2023, only then this service will be applied, will be taking off. Okay, it's not that they announced it in 2018, but maybe we'll do it in 2 months. No, they announced it first, yes, and they have to work through the idea. Okay, mula-mula, yes, they announced it, and they have to work through. So again, timing must be right. All right. So there are certain questions that arise when you talk about timing. In regards to this Uber, you look at first question. Will there be an increasing return to adopt from an early mover in air taxi service? So what is early mover? So you have some terms coming up. Early mover is a company that quickly recognizes a unique business opportunity or risk that uses that knowledge to evaluate its options before it becomes widely known. First company to capture large market shares. What is this? What is an early mover? Early mover is basically a company or a product or a service that recognizes a unique opportunity and uses that knowledge, to evaluate its options before becoming widely known. Example, QR code. QR code is it's a new technology lah. New technology. So let's say QR code. Okay, let's say Maybank. Okay, so Maybank recognizes a QR code is a new technology. How can we use QR code in making our banking service much more better? So they utilize QR code. Oh, we can do this. We can have our own mobile app. We can have our own e-wallet. Okay. So another company also looks at QR code. There's also called early mover. That means you're like, oh, now everyone is using QR code. So I also have to do something which is related to QR code because QR code is everywhere. So that's why now you see most of the companies have do it now QR code, a standard QR code. If a few months ago, kalau you masuk kedai and then you say you want to pay by e-wallet, they will ask you, Touch and Go, Grab, Boost, what? So you tell them, oh, Grab. Okay, kalau Grab, this is the QR code. Kalau Touch and Go, this is the QR code. But do it now says, why do you need to have so many QR codes? Let's just have one QR code. So if the person says, I want to pay by Touch and Go ahead. So they found out that they were the early movers. They were the early movers because they found out that if this is something to be looked at, if everyone is doing, so why not be as well jumping? So in your organization, your department, you have to look what is the current market and you become first there. Okay, you do not have to create something new. You just look around. What is going around, and you become early movers, become someone who uses the current knowledge, current technology, and jumps on it. So increasing return suggests that the timing of entry is very important. So they can be early movers or early followers or late entrant. Dia ada 3 kategori lah. So first movers, the first entrants to sell a new product. Basically orang kata pioneers lah. Macam Uber tadi lah, these are pioneers in the idea. Okay, but then again, kalau nanti saya tunjuk beberapa few more slides, apparently Uber was not the pioneer of this idea. Even Google was not a pioneer of the search engine. Other companies were pioneers. Pioneer means the first to cipta benda tu, the first one. Early followers are early to market, but not the first. That means they also come up with a new one, but they are not the first. You can say Grab. Grab is one of the earlier followers. Okay? Early followers. Even Google is an early followers. Because if you remember, before Google, kita ada apa? Kita ada Yahoo and so many other search engines. But Google came out later. So Google is considered as the early followers. They were not first in the market. Nope. Okay. As compared to kalau you tengok Amazon.com. So they were the pioneers. They were the pioneers in selling books online. So they were the pioneers. Sebelum tu tak ada siapa yang ada book online. Late entrants, well, when everything is done, do not enter the market until the product begins to penetrate the mass market or later. That means they wait. Let things go. Let things settle first. Let the penetration be. That means everyone is comfortable with the technology. Then I come in. Then only you go in. Then only you're one of many. Contohnya macam sekarang you have Food Panda, you have Grab Food, and you have others. Kan ada banyak lagi service. Even in KL, you have Lala Move, you have Bungkus 8, you have so many things. So these are what we say is a late entrance. So they wait for the technology to be stable, they wait for the people to be stable, and then they go in. Okay, so first movers are examples: Coca-Cola, Amazon, Apple. These are first movers. Orang yang pertama kali lah. Okay, pertama kali. Next, early followers. I did not put here. Maybe you can just note this down. Early followers are example Google. These are early followers because Google, if you know, they were not the first search engine. Yahoo was the first, one of the first search engine. Early followers. Uber can also be the early followers because if you read the history, Uber was just taking an idea. In US, there was another company called Lyft, Lyft. Lyft has also the same concept, but Uber just followed on it. So these were the early followers. So there are so many other early followers. Even McDonald's was considered the early followers, because if you read the history of McDonald's, it was just a person who liked the idea of fast food. So the fast food concept of McDonald's originated by two brothers in a different location. And this guy, he was just selling some machinery to these brothers, and then he liked the idea of fast food, and he bought that idea, and he became successful. So you can consider that as an early follower, okay? But then again, early followers are the first people to actually jump the bandwagon. So these are the people yang cepat masuk. It's not their idea, but they were considered one of the first ones to follow the market. All right. Late entrance is also Google. So now you have Google. Not only you can do your search engine, you can look at movies, you can look at apa lagi? Images. You have Google Image, Google Email, Google Photo, Google Maps, so many things. Tesla is also one more thing. Tesla is also coming up with electronic cars. Again, electronic cars was not their idea, it was somebody else's idea. Again, what they did was they waited for the technology to be stable, and they came out with new products, better products. So they are considered one of the late ones. Okay, one of the late ones. So you have three categories. So even if your company, your idea, your company, your department comes in the late entrance, it is okay, because what is most important is the timing. Timing is right. Okay, timing must be at the right time. It should be at the right time. Let's say in the current market, everyone, let's assume lah, everyone knows QR code. So in your company, let's say you want to change the method of attendance. Kalau dulu punch card. So now you want to apply QR code. So now it's okay, because everyone, I'm assuming everyone in your department, company has QR code, because now My Sejahtera is compulsory. Everyone needs to scan. So you can start building on what is it? You can start building on using QR code for your company's attendance. But if a few years ago, if you start using QR code only in your office, then it's going to be a problem, because only your office is applying it. But now most of your employees, most of your staff have QR code in their phones, so it's easier to implement. They understand what is QR code. So these are late entrants but successful. So it depends on which category your company, your department comes in. First, early or late, either one is good. Either one has disadvantage or advantages. If you start with the first movers, advantage is you are the first. Okay, you are the first. People have to follow what you do. But the disadvantage is you will have to spend more. Your company has to spend more, because you have to do research and R&D, because it's something people have not heard before. Okay, early followers, good, yes, because you look at the first. Whatever the first fails, you will tap on that and you become better. Apa yang first cannot do, your company can do it. But then again, okay, investment is also high. Late, you wait for everyone to complete. That means you wait for the technology to be stable, everyone is comfortable with it, and then you start on it. Okay? And then you start with it. Right. So first movers, advantage, disadvantage, everything has their own advantage and disadvantage. Okay. First movers have their own brand loyalty, because they were the first one, so people are loyal to them. Coca-Cola, loyal. Okay, everyone is loyal to them. Root beer, A&W root beer, loyal. Sebab diorang lah yang pertama cipta, so we are always loyal to them. Colgate, loyal. Okay. Apa tu, siapa lagi? Kellogg's cornflakes. Cornflakes. Okay. We are also loyal to them. Sebab bila sebut Kellogg's cornflakes, we know itu je lah. Walaupun we know it's something else, but we are loyal to them. Okay. Sama macam Panadol. Okay. Even though Panadol was not the first one, but they were the early ones, so we are very loyal to them. Okay. So sometimes first and early are almost the same, but the first has always been the biggest advantage of having the first mover is you're always loyal to them. All right. So these are some examples of the first movers, and their what is this? What do you say? If they were notable followers. Example: instant camera started by Polaroid. Now, Polaroid was the first instant camera in 1937. In 1937, Polaroid was the first one to start. Years later, 1967 or 57, Kodak started. So the first from 1937 to about 1957, Polaroid company was leading in instant camera, and then Kodak followed them, and Kodak became higher. Okay, and you'll be surprised, in 1967, when Kodak became popularized, Polaroid started looking at digital photography. Okay, the history says in 1967, that means sebelum kita lahir, obviously sebelum saya lahir dan sebelum awak lahir, Polaroid has already thought of going to digital dalam 1967, tapi tak buat lagi. So in 1980-ish, it already went to digital. Before Sony, before anything else. But it could not sustain because they were the early ones. Early, macam saya kata tadi, when you are the early, you have to dump in a lot of development cost. So Polaroid couldn't take it. So by 2008, Polaroid tutup. And now you have so many stuff. Kodak did not want to go into digital. By the time they went in, Kodak tutup. Okay. Apple, IBM also good followers. Okay. Microsoft also good followers. Okay. Because they just followed whatever the other company did and they did better. Pampers pun sama, good followers. They were not the first, but they followed. Okay. What else? Groupware or Nismo softwares lah. Okay, so first. What else? Micro Pro, WordStar. Has any one of you heard about WordStar? Pernah tak? Cik Amin pernah dengar WordStar? Syafiq pernah dengar?
Tak pernah.
Tak pernah? So WordStar was zaman saya lah, when I have used WordStar before. Masa saya form 5 tu, 1994, SPM 94, I've used WordStar. WordStar, WordStar tu dia bukan colourful lah, dia black screen saja. So you have to type kat situ. So WordStar was one of the popular word processing. And then Microsoft came up with Microsoft Office, and the rest was history lah. Okay, rest was history. Again, another one, workstation, Xerox was one of the first ones, and then early followers was HP, Sun Microsystem. So these are all early notable followers. Okay, so again, you might not be the first, but you can be a good follower. Okay, and now there are so many concepts there. Even kalau you tengok on courier service, courier service. Have you all heard about Mailbox, company nama Mailbox? Pernah dengar tak?
Benar.
Mailbox. Mailbox is a courier service company whereby you go and you hantar barang and you can choose which delivery company you want. You nak DHL ke, you nak apa-apa lah, whatever company yang CityLink or so on and so forth. But they were considered in Malaysia the early ones. Okay, very simple. You just go there and you don't have to go to, let's say, you nak post barang overseas, you tak payah pergi office DHL ke CityLink ke, you just go to Mailbox company and everything they do, packing and semua. Now you have the same thing, the same concept, cheaper way in post outlet, post, apa nama company tu? Banyak. Now a lot of courier companies. You just go to one shop, you can choose whatever courier you want to use. I think you have seen it banyak. Taman-taman dah ada dah. Okay, this is to cater for e-commerce business. So these are the early followers. Okay, because and they could be late entrants as well because they waited for the technology to be stable or the market to be stable. Only then they went in. All right. So let's look at other features or timing. Okay. So timing, there are certain factors that influence timing. How certain are customers' preference? How certain? Cara kita baca soalan ni, the way we read these questions is we have to ask, how certain are you with the customer's preference? Because your management will be asking you, how certain are you that our customers is ready? Let's say I have the top management of Aeon and you are the transformation office in Aeon. So you propose to the management, you say we should go into e-wallet. Saya akan tanya awak balik, how certain are you about our customer preference? Is this what the customer wants? Is this what the customer wants? Does the customer want e-wallet? If the customer needs are well understood, it is more flexible to enter the market early. So you should know what the customer wants. So how do you know what the customer wants? Is maybe you can interview the customers, you can do a survey, you can do observation. Okay, you can do observation, you can go and see how the customer spendings are, or you can just look at the current technology. So based on the current technology, you can decide what is the right appropriate technique to use for payment. Okay, how much improvement does the innovation provide over the previous solution? Okay, what does it mean? That means by you proposing the new method, would it solve the previous problem, or would it create more problem, or would it solve only little? So you dah ada innovation baru, okay, fine. Would it solve the new problem, or would it make it worse, or maybe it will do it in a different way? So again, we have to answer these questions. Or does the new innovation require enabling technology? You not implement a new ni, you're going to tukar infra, kan? Okay. And are these technologies sufficiently matured? Meaning, okay, let's say we want to implement e-wallet in Eon. So what do we need? Does Eon need to buy more hardware? And management is going to ask you, okay, I mean, okay, Cik Alif, sorry, okay, is that, okay, Puan Nora, how much does Eon have to pay? Eon kena beli berapa banyak item ni? And item-item ni, is it dah mature ke? Dah okay ke kat market? Because you say QR code ni baru. And then you ask Eon to buy. Okay, Eon kata, okay, you buy 10,000 of the QR code readers. But technology QR code tu sendiri or the readers are still not stable. So if I buy something today, lagi 2 tahun rosak, so it's going to cost more. So then that's why timing is always appropriate. Because some people enter late to the market because they wait for this. They wait for things to be cheaper. That's why technology or laptops are getting cheaper by the day. Hari ini laptop will cost you, let's say, the same thing, 5,000. Mid-year nanti drop 4,000 or drop 3,500. End of the year, same laptop yang keluar January, end of the year kalau you tengok balik will become 2,500. Next year laptop tu 1,000 something, and next year laptop tu mungkin it's already outdated dah. Right? Why? Because technology moves at a very fast pace and it's getting mature over time. Okay, it's getting mature over time. Sama juga dengan anything kat rumah. Dulu you beli Wi-Fi router, harganya macam ni. Over time, it becomes this price. And over time, that is not necessary anymore. So again, factors influence optional timing. Okay, so whatever you want to implement, the timing needs to be right. Is the new innovation product that you propose to your company do complementary good influence, or the value of innovation, or they are sufficiently available? Okay, maksud dia, is it going to become bad? Macam, is it complementary or sufficient? Maksud dia, are you complementary means it's not to replace the old method, but it's just to add on there. Okay, meaning cash boleh bayar, credit card boleh bayar, debit card boleh bayar, and now you have e-wallet. Okay. And e-wallet ni cukup tak untuk semua? That means everyone is going to use it. Is it sufficiently available? So you have to look at all these timing factors. Okay. So there are so many factors that you need to look at, right? So each of them needs to be studied. Each of them needs to be well articulated, because we need to understand, we need to propose this to our top management, telling them that this is a good technology, this is a good, a good product to invest on. Right, let's go into the last section for this chapter. Okay, Michael Mitchell studied 30 years of data on whether and when incumbent of one subfield of medical diagnostic imaging industry would enter another subfield. He found one firm can produce one immutable goods if he can enter if it wants. If several firms produce a good that is subsequently immutable, they race to capture the market. All right. So what does it mean? That means, okay, and then so on and so forth. That's almost the same lah. Okay. So we take the first point. The first point replaces first point two. Kalau you it also replies to point number 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So if one firm produces something which is so good, okay, so good, first time, so good, he can go in and he can enter and whenever he wants. But if there are several firms yang buat benda yang sama, each one will have their own race. Okay, each one will have their own race. Let's take the second point first. You have, with the current example, you have e-wallet Touch and Go, e-wallet Grab, e-wallet Boost, and so many others. Each of them are similar, but each of them will race among each other. Okay, so now these are, because there are so many already. But if one of these companies can produce something which cannot be replaced, that cannot be that is so good, then it will enter whenever it likes, and you people will start using it. But these days you have everything doing the same thing. Touch and Go gives you this amount of discount. Grab gives you this amount of points. Boost also gives you points. QR code Maybank also does the same thing. Okay, so each of these would have a right time. Okay, each of these will have a right time. Each of them will have a right advantage. So again, what we're trying to highlight is when is the right time to go in. We know that there are so many products available in the market. Okay, we know e-wallet is so many in the market, but when is our e-wallet going to go in? So how do you implement this in your company, your organization? Okay, so your company, your organization, you have to tell your company, you have to convince your top management. Yes, we know that in Eon we have so many customers. We know we are controlling the market in family shopping. Okay, we know we are controlling the market. So we have our need, and we know that during end of the year sales are good. This is the right time to go in with our new product. Could be. Okay. So so this is always the right time. So how do we control the market, or how do we secure the market? We have to give our companies, we have to give our customers more benefits, more features, more something that, if they come here, they cannot get it somewhere else. So this is what timing is all about. Okay, timing is all about. So what we have understood in this chapter is, besides timing, it should be either early follower or late. Okay, it should be either the pioneer or early follower or the late ones. Some of these companies yang small SME ni, or the small gerai-gerai dekat macam area Masai Meru ni, they are all considered the late entrants because they wait for the technology to be available and they wait for the bank charges to reduce, and then only they say, okay, now we offer e-wallet. So bank charges akan reduce. Kalau bank charges, the bank will say, kalau you guna e-wallet kami, charges dia banyak ni. But over time, the charges is going to reduce. Only then they go in. So timing is always important. Either you come in early, in the middle, or late, it's all okay. It does not mean that you need to come in early at all times, or late, or middle, or early. All right? Whenever you come in, the technology must be stable, mature, and is much more benefit for your customers. These are the points you need to highlight to your top management, because you have to understand, you want their money. you want the development cost to be handled by them. Okay, so that is all about chapter 5 here. Any questions before we stop for a short break? Okay, we'll stop for a short break. Kita akan continue balik dalam maybe about 3:35. Okay, 3:35 Sekarang is 3:22. We will start back at 3:35. Alright, so I'll see you at 3:35. Thank you so much. All right. So far, what we have learned in chapter 5 is we looked at the timing of entry. Okay. So timing of entry is very important, as we have mentioned. And why is timing of entry important? Is because we need to see, or we need to understand if the technology has matured, if customers are ready, is this what the customer wants, and a few more other factors. Okay, so these are very, very important to inform your top management if you would like to introduce a new set of product or services into the market. All right. So now in chapter 6, we want to set the company's direction. Okay, we want to set the company's direction because we have highlighted that in 5 years' time, our we will be introducing a new system to the market, to our products, to our organization. So from now on, we have to set where is our direction going, right? So in this chapter, we'll be talking about the strategic direction of any organization, how to look at what are we going to do in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's look at the first example given here. We start with Telstar. Okay, so Telstar started in 2003, to be exact. Okay, so Elon Musk started with this. So why did he start this company? Is because he wanted to do an electric car. That was his idea way 2003. But only when 2018 came, where the company spent 12 billion to actually produce the Telstar car that you see now. So between 2003 and 2018, the direction was towards getting the first electric car out. So the company had to work out something, or some product, some innovation, some R&D, so that by 2018, it was ready for the market. Okay, so 2003, yes, we are heading towards this way. So by 2018, we are there. If you look at Dubai started. Dubai is a Middle East country where most of it, everyone knows, it's just it's just land of sand. But how Dubai has come is because they also had some strategic direction. They planned that by certain years there will be something, and the king helped a lot, but they planned for it. Okay, they planned strategically. Okay, we are going to become this. We are going to become one of the best things in the world, one of the top in the world. Everyone needs to know about us. So they planned it so that in every year they will achieve something. So Telstar also started the idea in 2003, and by 2018 they were able to produce their car. Okay, so this you can go on. These are some questions that we would like to discuss about this. But look at question number 3. What do you think are Telstar's core competencies? Does it have any source of sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, so the things that we are going to look at in this chapter is core competencies and how to achieve competitive advantage. Core competency is what are we good at? What is Telstar good at? What is your company good at? What are you good at? What is Malaysia good at? Okay, so with that, you will foresee, you can set your company's direction. Okay, so a coherent or consistent technology innovation leverages the firm's existing competitive position and provides direction for future development. So what does that mean? If your organization is at that top level, okay, competitive advantage, that means between the other companies or between the other shops, between the other products, your company is already at the top. So you will have to come up with something which is consistent and to maintain that competitive advantage. Coherent, that means we have to maintain something which is consistent dengan our nature. Okay, yes, you can change to something different, but it has to be reflected back on what you are good at. What is your company good at? If you look at Gardenia, for example, yes, they are good at producing bread. Memang they are good at sedap roti-roti je. So they leverage it on that competitive advantage. They came out with so many products, pandan lah, white bread, wholemeal, and this and that. But they took a risk because of their consistent technology they have. They took a risk and produced mi kuning pula, a bit off their original product, but they were able to still do it. Okay, so they have already maintained the advantage, the competitive advantage, competitive position, but now they just leverage on what they have. Meaning they did not invest on anything more. They just invested on themselves. You don't have to invest on you don't have to invest on a new machine. You just use whatever you have. Yes, you can invest, but it's not a total change. Okay. So in order to look at this, in order to leverage on what you have, the firm has to first look at its environment, strategies, weakness, competitive advantage, and core competencies. What are we good at? From this, you can articulate, you can set out what is your strategic intent. Okay, so how does the firm organization evaluate its position? How do you evaluate? That means, how do you tell your company? How are you going to tell your management? We are number one. How are you going to tell that? How are you going to tell that? Yes, let's say you're working in Aeon. How are you going to say to your company, I think we are number one? You think. How do you say you think? How do you portray to your management? We are number one. Dalam family shopping, we are number one. So there are two methods that you normally use. You have to study the external. You have to find out what are the external surroundings that portray or that says that you are number one. So there are two methods we can use. One is we look at the Porter's 5-source model, or another method is we use as the stakeholders analysis. Okay, two methods. Method number one is what we say is the Porter 5-force model, and method number two is what we say as the is the stakeholder analysis. So let's look at the first one, Porter's law. So Porter's model ni, there are the five constructs of interest. We look from the industry rival, bargaining supply, bargaining buyers, substitute, and newcomers. Meaning, we study this. Okay, katakan kita ambil tadi Aeon. So we study who is our rival. Who is our rival? Study. Who and what is the bargaining of suppliers? Maybe we have suppliers. Do we have a lot of suppliers? Are we tied to one supplier? Or the supplier can run away? So we look at the suppliers. And we look at bargaining of buyers. Are the buyers always coming back to us, or the buyers have another choice? That means kalau you tak nak Aeon, you can go somewhere else. We look at that. Can Aeon be substituted with something else? That means back to bargaining tadi lah, bargaining of buyers. That means kalau dia tak jumpa Aeon, can he go somewhere else? Contohnya macam ni, Tesco. If you don't go to Tesco, you can also go to Mindin, or you can go into EconSafe, or you can go into Giant, because you can substitute lah. But then again, adalah price difference. But all of these are hypermarkets. Okay, bargaining of buyers, it determines where you are. Okay, the bargaining power berbeza. You buka Giant dekat Sungai Petani berbeza dengan you buka Giant in Ipoh, or beza dengan you buka Giant in Kulim, or beza you buka in Penang. Even the items sold in that Giant can be different. Okay? And you look at new entrants. Who are the newcomers? Because newcomers will be your enemies. Not to say enemies, that means they will be your you have to be at par with them, or maybe better with them. Okay, so there are 5 items to be looked at in 5 Porter's model. One is the industry rival, bargaining of suppliers, bargaining of buyers, substitute, and new entrants. Okay, so if you look at rivalry, determined by the number of firms, size, degree of differentiation between firms, demand condition, and exit barriers. So how are you different from them? Potential entrants who are coming in. Bargaining suppliers determined by the number of suppliers and the degree of different portion of firm's input. That means how many types of supply, how many suppliers are you getting it from? Okay, bargaining power of the buyers and threat of the substitute new entrants. Okay, so all of these will determine your external factors to say where your company is. So why is this important? Why do we need to assess where is our current position? Back to the title of the chapter, because we want to define our strategic direction. We want to do our strategic direction. If our external factors are low, then we don't have to go into this market. Like, even though how much we do own, we cannot get it there. Example, let me give you an example. Okay, EconSafe and Tesco. Okay, both of them are considered to be a hypermarket. Both of them have their own set of customers. Right? Why is there why would people kenapa, what do we say, how do I say that? Why are both of them doing well? Because both of them have their own set of customers, and both of them are different in different ways. I mean, both of them will do different things. Tesco will do something else, and EconSafe will do something else. EconSafe will promote something else more than what Tesco is doing. Did you know that even Speedmart is different? Do you know that Speedmart sells bread, roti, 20 sen lagi murah daripada kedai sebelah dia? I just recently bought bread in Speedmart 99. Bread cost, I think, saya beli yang padat tu RM5. But if you buy in Speedmart, you get it at $4.80. To go to the kedai Bangla sebelah kedai tu, it's still $5. You go to Tesco, it's still $5. But Speedmart is their trademark. They want to sell certain items cheaper than the rest, but not to say all items. So mungkin kicap orang lagi mahal daripada kicap kedai sebelah, but that is how they do things. They want to have their own set of branding, their own set of customers. So again, based on this, you can set your company's strategic direction. Okay, you need to know how well are you in the market, because from that you can position, okay, now we have our own set of customers. Our customers are this category. So we can put in this kind of service, this kind of product. Another example, Aeon Supermarket and Mydin. Aeon Supermarket and Mydin. Jaya Grocer and Mydin. Two of them have different bargaining from buyers. Jaya Grocer up sikit, Mydin B40. So you cannot sell Jaya Grocer punya barang inside Mydin, and Mydin cannot sell whatever Jaya Grocer jual kalau whatever Jaya Grocer selling inside Mydin. Let's say, okay, so Jaya Grocer boleh jual barang-barang import. The same barang import, if you put it back in Mydin, it will not be sold because the customers are, the buyers are only B40, but here maybe T20. All right, so they are different. So from that, you can set your organization direction. Based on that, you can come up with more innovation. Okay, another method of determining your current company's current position is what we say as the stakeholder analysis. Who are your stakeholders? What are stakeholders? First, you have to understand what is stakeholders. Stakeholders are those people who have direct connection with you, with your company.
Doktor?
Yes?
Sorry, tadi doktor cakap macam Aeon and Mydin, Jaya Grocer and Mydin tu different in term of apa?
Buyers, buying power.
Buying powers. Okay, thank you.
Sebab Mydin dia jual barang-barang untuk B40 lah. Tapi Jaya Grocer dia jual barang-barang untuk orang-orang T20. You cannot substitute them. You cannot jual apa lagi saya biasa beli kat Jaya Grocer, pasta yang mahal-mahal tu.
Lain kan?
You cannot, tak boleh. Even kalau different, totally different. Even I'm sure all of you have been to Paksen kan? Paksen Ipoh dengan Paksen Sungai Petani pun berbeza. Paksen is also different. Both are selling the same product. Sorry, the same type of baju, tapi baju di sana dengan baju di sini berbeza. So kalau you nak come up with, both of them, it depends on where they are lah. So based on that, you can do strategic direction for your company. Right. So another method for firms' current position is what we say is that we are using the stakeholder analysis. So yang tadi tu we find out stakeholder and porter ni is to find out the external analysis from outside to inside. We want to find out what is the position of our organization. So we use the external analysis. So dalam external analysis, there are two methods. One is the porter model, and another one yang kita nak buat ni is stakeholder analysis. So stakeholder analysis, since the name pun dah stakeholder analysis, we are looking at how our stakeholders look at us. Okay, our customers, employees, stockholders, lenders, rivals, suppliers, government policy, and local community. How are they looking at us? Okay, who are the stakeholders? So soalan pertama, who are the stakeholders? So jawapan dia you can see on the screen here. Customers, employees, these are our stakeholders. What does each stakeholder want? What resources do they contribute? What claims are they likely to make in the organization? Okay. Let's take an example, SpeedMart 99. So SpeedMart 99, as I'm sure you agree with me at the moment, dia tumbuh macam cendawan. Betul tak? Anywhere dah ada dah. Celah anywhere lah. Kalau kita ambil Sri Iskandar tu, in Tronoh there is one, in Bandar University there is one, in Bandar Sri Iskandar there is one. There are three around that way. Di Meru Impian ada satu, dekat depan tu saya tak ingat taman tu ada satu, Taman Jati, Main Road opposite side ada satu, dalam tu ada satu. Ada dua kat situ. But what are these people doing? Barang sama, the same thing je. Why is it so nearby? Why is it like that? Now people are saying if you want to see if the taman is developed, kalau dulu orang kata kalau ada satu kedai mamak kat situ, insyaAllah dia develop lah. But now they're saying if there's a SpeedMart over there, taman tu akan membangun. So What resources do they contribute back to the kita ambil point local community? What do they contribute? They contribute, if you look at Speedmart, kalau you tanya semua yang bekerja kat situ, all of them come from the same taman. So this is how Speedmart is at the current position, because in every area that Speedmart opens, it only takes people in that taman or in that locality. It does not take people coming from far. All their workers are basically from that taman only. That is why you can see Speedmart in any taman, even though taman tu kat dalam any sekalipun, Speedmart tu ada, because all of their workers are within themselves. If you ask all of them how long have you traveled to come here, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so semua duduk situ je, ada yang jalan kaki pun. Okay, so this is how they foresee themselves. They are besides, because they are selling whatever you're selling as well. Okay, they are selling whatever everyone is selling. They jual susu, roti, telur, semua they jual, everything. But they are contributing in this factor. So if people know that they are contributing to local community, you will feel lembut sikit. You'll okay, let's go to this shop. So this is how they are doing it. So using this factor, they are at a higher position. Okay, so their customers are also from that taman. Their employees are also from that taman. They're contributing back to their local community, and they're also getting suppliers who are within that area only. Okay, who are within that area only, who comes into that area only. Okay, if you look at 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven has the same concept as well. It's a franchise, but the delivery of 7-Eleven is based on locality. That means 7-Eleven jual drinks and roti and so on and so forth. Each 7-Eleven would have their own supplier. It's not coming from the HQ. It's not coming from anywhere else. The local 7-Eleven will determine which supplier he or she will take. So this is how they would be advanced. So why am I telling you all this? What is this necessary? How is this point relevant to strategic direction? Because of this, we can know where our company is, and because of this, we can come up with some other products, some other services to attract more of these people. Okay, Speedmart. So now they know most of their employees are from the locals within the area. So how would they do it? Okay, so maybe they can give out more services, well benefits. They can sponsor more. They can come with more products related to that area only. Okay? So these are some strategic direction they use using the stakeholder analysis. All right. So that is external, something outside. Next, you also need to highlight to your organization what is internal analysis. Okay. So if you let's go back to external for a bit. So if you are working for a top organization, let's say you are working for Petronas. Okay, you are inside the strategic transformation unit, and you do a external analysis. So this is Petronas, is big thing, sorry. So how are you contributing to? How are you going to make yourself? You need to tell your boss, yes, we are number one. We are at the current position by external. So you have to look how each petrol station contributes back to the to local community. Okay, how the suppliers contribute back, or you contribute back to the suppliers. So these are the external factors. Because of this, you can set the direction. Now, you also need to look at your internal analysis. You also need to look at your internal analysis, because you need to know what is our strength. Okay, what is our strength? Apa kekuatan dalaman kita? We know our kekuatan luaran kita apa. Speedmart knows its strength outside is because they are local. Okay, they are local to that taman. Ada local branding kat situ. Okay, people will go because it's local. Okay, but you also need to know what is internal. Okay, so what is your internal strength? Apa kekuatan dalaman kita? So we have a good operations department. We have a good logistics department. We have a good marketing department. So you have to see what is the primary activity and what is the supporting activities. Okay. So what is our primary activities? What do our company do? What is our core business? And how do we support that? So each of these needs to be highlighted well. Because from this, bila kita dah highlight each of this, then we can see, this is where we need to focus more on in the next years to come. Okay, we need to see what is our strength. Speedmart, kita ambil jawab example senang. Speedmart, external factors is because it's local. Okay, now they go local. Okay, meaning kalau orang-orang taman tu akan datang Speedmart. Sebab satu, sebab it's local. Yang kedua, people will come to work because tempat dekat. Okay, so that is they have their own external analysis done. Now internal, so based on this, they can look at what should be offered to these internal people, so that internal so that the internal people can entertain more to the external analysis. So what should the internal analysis be? What is the kekuatan orang-orang dalam kita so that they can move forward? So if we look at big organizations, they look at what are their strengths, which department is doing well, which employee is doing well, how is this employee doing? So these are internal analysis. Okay, assess the strength that have potential to be sustainable competitive advantage. Is the product that we are supplying rare, valuable, durable? Okay, so this will be your competitive advantage. Okay, so product yang kita bagi ni rare tak? Is it good? Is it bad? How are we doing it? Okay, and resources are difficult to or impossible to imitate when they are tacit, path-dependent, socially complex, or casually ambiguous. Okay, so some resources, some values within the organization are difficult to imitate. That means it's only is only applies to our organization. Contohnya macam KFC or McDonald's. Okay, KFC Malaysia produces nasi lemak. Nasi lemak. It's local to us, difficult to imitate. KFC Singapore cannot imitate. KFC Thailand cannot imitate because this is a local product. It's internal to us and it brings the current position of KFC at par. So this is their direction. So KFC Thailand or KFC Arab or KFC US cannot compete with us because this is our strength. Ini kekuatan dalaman kita. If they were to come up with their own product, it's because of their strength. Our strength is our own because it's because of we are local. All right. So this is how you assess the local. Sorry, you assess your own internal analysis. You check how good you are internally. Right. Next, we look at core competencies, a set of integrated and harmonized ability that distinguish the firm in marketplace. Meaning, you plus the internal plus the external. How well is the combination of this in the market? Secara keseluruhannya, how competent or what is your core competencies? What is the that means when people say about this, they can distinguish you and another one. When you talk about Jaya Grocer and Tesco, they know. When you talk about Tesco and Aeon Supermarket, they know. Each of them are different. Obviously, they have their own set of customers. We have our own set of customers. They're different. Sama juga, okay, with other hypermarket, they are different. So this is where if you are working with, let's say you're working with Giant. So if you want to impose something new there, you have to look at what internal and external facilities or abilities that you have. Sama juga Tesco, sama juga dengan Econ-Safe, Econ-Safe or Jaya Grocer, what is their competencies, core competencies, right? So these are some product or business values that you can use when you are competent. What kind of core products you have, and so let's say these are the four important competent product or uh, competent products that you have in your organization, and based on this you choose what is the core, what is the number one, number two, and what is the business process, macam mana kita nak dapatkan produk ini. So you know, okay, untuk jadi number one in selling goods and services, it goes through 4 departments, it goes through 4 process. So kalau kita improve this process, we can even be better. For example, okay, let's say we are very good in selling some item. So now kalau kita improve by adding more items, more people want to come, so things like that. So this is how we look at identifying core competence in our organization. Okay, another topic that we need to understand is being rigid. Rigid is initiatives and culture may reward current competence while opposing development of new competence. Okay, dynamic capabilities are competence that enable firms to quickly respond to change. When firms excel in one activity, they can become overcommitted to it and rigid. That means your company is so good, Speedmart ni bagus sangat, but they're so rigid. Oh, ni tak boleh, tu tak boleh, ni tak boleh. Your department is so good, but it's too rigid. So when you are too rigid, you are unable to see the other new development. So automatically you're opposing the new development. Okay. So you have, let's say you have a kedai runcit biasa. You're doing well in that taman. But if you are too competent, if you are too rigid, then you will start, ini semua tak penting. Orang yang datang taman saya ni orang-orang tua, so they don't know e-wallet, they don't know this. So again, you will be opposing to new developments. Okay. So dynamic capabilities is capabilities yang you are able to adapt with change. You're able to do it very fast. Okay, you're able to do it very, very fast. So when you are able to adapt to change in a faster manner, then you can go up faster, your company can go up faster. For example, a firm may develop a set of abilities that enable it to rapidly deploy new product development teams for a new opportunity. Firms may develop competency in working with alliance partner to gain need resource quickly. So sometimes in order for you to be at the top, you need to work with other people. Rather than you employ new people, you work with others. Okay, you work with others. Contohnya senang macam ni lah. Macam Speedmart, I mean all this small, all this supermarket ni, they work with Tesco, they work with Touch and Go, they work with Grab, they work with Boost, so that there are people yang datang sini, they are able to use their e-wallet, they boleh guna Touch and Go e-wallet, boleh guna Maybank e-wallet, they guna Boost, they work with others, they provide service lah others. So people come here, people can use their own, boleh pakai Grab punya Touch and Go e-wallet. So e-wallet, if they work with Touch and Go, so people coming with Touch and Go e-wallet boleh pakai Touch and Go e-wallet. So they work with other companies as well. Okay, so let's go into, so these are the same as well. Let's go into blue ocean strategy. So what is blue ocean strategy? So in order for you to go in a direction, in order for you to invest in a direction, either you can be good at what you do, and you just masuk je lah. Okay, let's say, ini example yang agak kelakar lah. Nasi kandar. Let's say you want to open a nasi kandar shop in Penang. And how many nasi kandar shops are there in Penang? Kita ambil satu number. Let's say there are hundreds of nasi kandar. And you are a newcomer. So bila you masuk, you nak buka kedai nasi kandar in Penang, it is what we say as a red ocean, because there are hundreds of nasi kandar in Penang, and you baru nak sampai, you are the newcomer. Why would I want to eat in your place? Sedangkan saya suka makan dekat Line Clear. Puan Nora likes to eat in Kasih Mustafa. Siapa lagi? Saya tak ingat yang hari yang tengah mengandung tu, yang tengah dalam salin tu, likes to eat in nasi kandar beratur. Why would you want to eat in Cik Amir punya nasi kandar? So you are actually going into what we say is a red ocean strategy. Red ocean strategy is you must be, your product ni must be kebabo lah, must be very much totally new, totally, orang kata not totally new, totally sedap gila lah, right? So what companies are doing now is they're going for blue ocean strategy. Very less competition. Okay, exists when there is potential for higher profits, as there is now competition or irrelevant competition. A blue ocean of undistributed market space where it is possible to operate without competition. This is blue ocean strategy. That means you go into something which is blue, open, nothing is there yet. Kalau ada pun sikit. Which company did this? Yang paling successful, AirAsia. Now everyone can fly. AirAsia did blue ocean strategy because nobody did, or nobody in Malaysia produced cheap flights. AirAsia did. If they were to be, let's say AirAsia opened similar to MAS, they cannot go because MAS has the name, has the branding. So people will say, why would I want to go to somewhere else if MAS is there? But if you reduce the cost, if you reduce so much other things, why not? Why would I not want to go there? Why would I not want to choose AirAsia? Because I'm also going to, let's say we're going to Kota Kinabalu. Why would I want to spend 1,000 ringgit going to Kota Kinabalu, sedangkan I can only pay 300 ringgit? So blue ocean strategy is something which your organization can do, is by introducing something which is totally new but relevant to the market. Nintendo, this is something new. Nintendo Wii is something new. They introduced this, totally kicked off. No other companies did it. Blue ocean strategy: create uncontested market, make it competition, make the competition irrelevant, so there's nobody there. Create and capture new demand, break the value cost trade-off, align the whole system of firms' activities in pursuit of differentiation and low cost. So blue ocean strategy is to get low cost. If you go into red ocean strategy, then you are competing with the existing market. You have to beat the market, which is going to be very difficult. Okay, because some names have been very, very much established. Even now, if you come up with a new courier service, it's almost considered you are going into the red ocean strategy, because there's so many courier companies now. How is your courier company different from the rest? Okay, so that is why in blue ocean strategies, some companies also couldn't make it, but AirAsia could make it for a very, very long time, because they were the first ones inside. They were the early ones. Kalau kita ikut chapter 5 tadi, okay, they're the early ones. Yang awal-awal dulu. Yeah, I'm sure you remember kan, early, your first trip to AirAsia dulu. They were the early ones. Now you can fly from Ipoh to Langkawi berapa, 30 ringgit, 40 ringgit dah. Okay, very cheap. And then it's still cheaper. Kalau mahal pun, it's still cheaper from MAS. So these are the concepts of blue ocean strategy. Which of the factors that in the industry takes for granted should be eliminated? Kalau kita go back to blue ocean strategy, kita ambil example AirAsia, free food. So they eliminated this because these are not. Why do they want to give food dalam kapal terbang? So they took it away. Nak bayar lebih. Okay. Which factor should be reduced as well? Reduce the investment cost. Yes, you can reduce the investment cost. Which factor should be raised well? Raise the investment cost. Boleh juga. Which factor should be created that the industry never has offered? create a totally new factor, something totally different. This is what AirAsia was doing. Right. Next, you can also do the balance scorecard. Okay, you evaluate your organization internally using financial, customer, internal innovation based on certain criteria. What is your financial standards? Sometimes your financial organization, your financial situation in your organization might not be so good. So it's difficult for you to invest more. But sometimes it's good enough. Okay? All right. I think that's all for today. Kita dah cakap lama dah. Okay? All right. I think I will let you go. I will let you go off early today. Again, because I think it's more than enough for today. All right. So today we have covered two things. We have covered chapter 5, timing, and chapter 6, the direction of your organization. Right. So very simple. Timing is very much important. Either we are the early followers, late, and then direction is also very important. What is our company's direction? We have also highlighted about the Porter Force model and the stakeholder analysis, and we've also understood about the red ocean and the blue ocean strategy. All right. So tomorrow, inshallah, we will continue with chapter 7 and chapter 8. And tomorrow I'll give you another assignment for you to submit before midnight again. All right. Okay. How are you all doing? Semua saya tengok mata dah satu line je. Okay. All right. So inshallah I will see you back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Sorry, tomorrow what time of class?
9 a.m. or 9:30.
9:30 ke 9 a.m. What time do you want? Is it 9:30 or 9 o'clock?
9:30 lah, Doctor.
9:30. Okay,
9:30.
9:30. Okay. So we will start the class tomorrow at 9:29. Boleh? 9:29. All right. Tomorrow I'll see you at 9:29. Thank you so much. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll see you again, and we will continue with chapter 7 and 8. Okay. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Bye.